Hey guys, good morning. It's Rebecca Undum, and you're getting, again, a car version of our Rebecca Undum live show today. I'm actually sitting outside. I'm going to roll my window down of the practice field where my 9-year-old son is at his very first official football practice of the season. So he is walking this way, and he's going to be joining us shortly. So he'll be hanging in the back seat, and he's going to be so annoyed because we're going to have to sit here until I'm done because I can't talk to you live, and I can't do a Facebook Live and drive. I'm not that good. Here he comes. I'm waving at him. Okay, so good morning, everybody. All right, lots of stuff. My mind and my heart and everything. Hey, LaDonna, good morning. Hey, buddy, I'm on Facebook Live, so.
And I'm hot.
I bet you're hot, yeah. I'll ask you all about practice. You want to say hey?
Hi.
Hi, there you are. How was football practice?
Pretty good. I liked it.
I saw you running, doing all the running. Was it hard?
Yeah.
All right.
I got tired.
Okay, we're going to have to sit here for a few minutes because I can't do a Facebook Live and drive. I know, I'm sorry. You can turn on a movie just until we're done, okay? Technology, right? Oh my gosh. I'm so thankful for technology in cars. I don't know how we did it. We did it. My parents did it. We used to do road trips all the time. We'd play board games in the back seat, but we don't have to do that anymore. Okay, so you guys, if you kind of followed along, I feel like I've been literally vibrating with energy, actually vibrating, buzzing, almost. So I was okay, and you're like, why? What's your deal? So this last weekend, I got to meet in real life my amazing mastermind buddies. So I joined this year-long mastermind group in January through a business called Kick-Ass Masterminds. That's actually their name. Yes, Andrew has seen it and heard it. He knows. That's part of my friend Sarah's business. So Sarah, she's the founder of Kick-Ass Masterminds, and she basically curates people to come together. You go through an application process, you figure out where you're at in your business, and she bases it on personality largely. And there's kind of a whole process, a whole alchemy kind of process to how she curates the groups. And these women, I've been meeting them at a minimum one time a month, on a scheduled call, and then it's just on demand all the time. We're available for each other anytime we need each other. So that's been going on since January. And this weekend in Austin, I got to actually squeeze them in real life. And I squeeze people. I squeezed them. I really squeezed on them. And it was an amazing space, amazing opportunity. Sarah's home was incredible. So super soothing and amazing for the soul. But that last day, so I flew back home on Saturday. I literally sitting there with them, my teeth were chattering. Not because I was cold or because I was super caffeinated, which was also the case. It's that vibration of positivity and excitement for what's to come. So right before I left, I did a video out at my parents' farmstead to see what you guys kind of all thought about what could be done with that. And believe me, all of those ideas, everything's percolating. Now that I'm back home, I'm going to really try to put a plan together to figure that all out. But so just lots of amazing and cool things. And I'm just going to say straight out, if you guys don't ever get a chance to completely disengage from your day-to-day life, as much as we love football and practices and all that stuff, being able to get away for even just a little bit and really focus. So me, I was focusing both on myself as a woman and my business, right? Being able to do that is it's not only, it feels luxurious, right? It feels indulgent, but it's not selfish. It's really important. So I'm going to encourage you guys in that. If that's something that you haven't been doing or don't do, get yourself some time. Book out some time and do it. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so today we're continuing this whole discussion about change. Last week, and I actually did this ahead of time. So if you look at this, you can see this is the process, right? There's 4 quadrants. We talked about the decide quadrant yesterday. Today is the learn quadrant. So stage 2 of the process of change. Reconnecting. Okay, I think we're good. This is all about getting the knowledge. So in the first quadrant, so again, to kind of recap, like why are we talking about change in a process? Because if you fall off the wagon, which we all inevitably do, right? Because change is making sustainable changes that become like a part of who you are. It takes time, and this process is the thing that you will follow no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And so I shared with you guys last week, and it's going to continue this. I'm going to talk about this process in the context of both my health journey, not weight loss. It's not about weight loss. It was about feeling like a better me, like a healthier me. And then also how I made the shift from being a trainer to a speaker. Because the exact same process happened. So the first step was getting your mindset in the right place, like getting your head straight about why you're actually motivated to change. Like, what's the motivation? Is it from outside of you? Is it from inside of you? All of that. Today we're looking at that next step, that kind of lower right quadrant in the little process. And this is about getting yourself some knowledge. Okay? Now this is going to be the least sexy part of the process. I'm going to be honest about that. You're going to look at it and you're going to be like, meh, whatever. But there's still like pitfalls or like hiccups that can trip us up during this stage. And then also there's serious emotions that can take hold in this step of the process. And so again, the whole goal with this is once you know what the process is, then at any point, if you want to make a change, you know what to do. Second, if you're in the process of trying to change and you stumble and fall and, fall off the wagon, like I keep saying, you'll know what to do to get back on. And you'll show yourself grace along the way. And you won't beat yourself up and then never make any progress. Because that's what happens, right? The mindset when we're not in the right place with our head, okay? All right, so stage 2, this is where, so the whole thing is getting knowledge. We need to seek out resources, information, strategies, ideas from a reliable and reputable source. Okay, so I say that because here's where the hiccups come into place. There's two primary ones that we find ourselves falling into at this stage when we're trying to figure out exactly what to do, like what to do to make the change. Because let's just talk about health, right? I had tried everything, you guys. I mean, short of like gastric bypass surgery, which I didn't need, right? Short of like a physical cosmetic surgery or like the actual surgery, I had tried everything to lose kind of this extra fluff that I just felt my body would not release. And this was post third kid, nearing my 40s, just like my body just didn't respond to things like it used to when I was in my 20s. Go frickin' figure, right? So this is where I would go, okay, like I've got friends doing keto. Great. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do keto. And again, no, so this is not, listen to me, please, friends, as I say this, that just because keto didn't really work for me and what I need and want doesn't mean it's a bad thing. This is the trouble with this step. We get completely overwhelmed by the options available, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you're going to be inundated. If you're looking for it, you're going to get inundated with everybody's expert opinion. And they are experts. They're experts in their way, their process, their program. And the whole thing is you look and you go, okay, like which one's right for me? So the hiccups is that there's two of them. The first is because it's overwhelming, and that's the feeling. We'll get to that in a second. A lot of times we end up listening to people who have never experienced what we actually hope to accomplish. So we listen to family and friends. So this is a gut check thing at this point. Like, are you surrounding yourself with people that you actually aspire to be like them in this situation? So this is a perfect, like, again, plug for my mastermind. And the reason a mastermind is so important. These women are all in their own way, like they've achieved something that I think is really honorable and worthy. And they can help me. They could tell me what process they used, right? This is where we're like in this information gathering and we're just scooping it all up and trying to figure out what's going to be our thing. This often is the exciting part because we're like gathering. The second biggest hiccup, though, is that we try to do it all. So what happens is we bite off an enormous chunk of this whole process, like whatever it is, if you're trying to lose weight. So again, let's go back to weight. So I said I tried keto. I tried like all of the multi-level marketing, different company programs, tried to see if I could make those work for me. Nothing, all of it was like, what ended up happening for me is that when I say I tried to bite off more than I could chew, I would literally say, okay, I'm cutting out gluten, wheat, sugar, dairy. I'm not eating grains. I'm not eating all of it. I'm cutting it all out, and I'm going to exercise like a crazy person. Or cutting calories, like, and that's like with keto, that exact lifestyle. It's just you cut out carbs like in perpetuity, right? So I could go gung-ho on that for a short period of time, and then it's like, so the phrase I put is like, you bite off too large of a chunk all at one time and you eventually choke and die. You can't get the results that you want if it feels, first of all, unsustainable. And all of those things for me felt unsustainable. So that's an example, right? Also making the shift from speaking to, or from training to speaking, I ended up, the route that I chose to go with this was that I hired a coach. And she happened to be someone who I had seen on stage. I admired how she did it, and she coached other people to do that. So I chose one person to get my source of information from. So those are kind of the two hiccups, right? Listening to people who don't know, who haven't achieved what you want to achieve. So basically listening to people who are miserable themselves in this one area that you're trying to accomplish. And then the second is trying to do too much at one time. So to LaDonna's point there, she says keto, and I knew that LaDonna, and I was hoping you were still here. She's been doing it for over a year, keto, the keto diet, and she loves it, right? I have a lot of friends that have had serious success on keto. So again, this isn't a discussion about which programs are best. I share what's worked for me, just as everybody does. And the whole thing is, that's one of the things we need to do. We need to filter through for ourselves. Who are we? What do we want? How does this program, no matter how perfect the program is, we are still ourselves. And we need to be willing to do that. This, like everything I've done from a business standpoint, is the same deal. And the times I've gotten most hung up on not getting the success I wanted or not seeing the change I wanted was because I didn't filter it through my own personal life situation. I didn't ask any questions. It was just like, oh, this is perfect process for how to do something. So obviously it's going to work for me. Well, that expert, no matter who they aren't you. So we have to be willing to do that. We have to be willing to take all of the knowledge we're getting and say, okay, well, what really feels good to me? What's really going to work for me? So the feelings that we're going to feel at this stage when we're like doing all the information gathering, likely we're going to feel overwhelmed. There's just so much information. It's hard, seriously, to know what to listen to. And then the second is that we're going to be kind of excited. I mean, let's be real. That's kind of the fun part. It's like, oh, look, I could do it this way, or I could do it this way. And the hardest thing, again, is coming back to that truth of who you are and recognizing that a perfect process isn't going to be perfect for you if it doesn't perfectly align with who you are. And so real lasting change has to be filtered through our own needs and our own preferences and our own, it's really, I shared this with my mastermind group this weekend, that the times I have felt most out of alignment with my business were the times I stopped listening to my intuition, like following my gut and saying that just doesn't feel quite right to me, or I don't think that's going to really work for me because it doesn't feel right for me. When I stop listening to my gut and just doing what other people tell me to do or telling me what like the next best thing is, that's when it feels like a fad or a trend and feels like something that I can't sustain. And so that's so keto just happens to be the one I named. I'm serious. I've done South Beach. I did full on Atkins once. I did, and again, the MLMs, like I've done kind of a formulation of the Beachbody program, and I've used Isagenix products. Like I've tried all of these things. And at some point it came down to what's really going to be sustainable for me, right? And feel good for me. And again, like I said, on the more business side of things, hiring a coach, working with her, getting kind of her process. I didn't just hire her out of nowhere. I was able to watch her speak, and I was able to have conversations with her, like almost interview her, figure out, is her style, does it feel resonant with who I am? Because that's the other thing, speaking, there's like tons of advice you can get about how to be a better speaker. But again, if that person hasn't accomplished something that looks and feels like what you want for yourself, it's not going to work, right? Okay, so what do we really do? So my whole thing with this is that we're going to talk about each step of this process. We're going to talk about the challenges you're going to face. We're going to talk about the emotions you're going to feel. And then I want to help you with like one small idea, like one small tip to get you through this stage, right? So here's the key to success in this stage is to start small. there's no reason to like wholesale change everything all at one time relative to whatever it is you're trying to do, because you seriously have it's that bigger chance that you're going to become completely overwhelmed, choke, and die. And then you're going to hate it. You're not going to like it. You're not going to want to do it. And if it's not sustainable and somewhat enjoyable, change is hard, guys. Like, that's the thing. It's hard. It doesn't feel good. And when you're stretching yourself and out of your comfort zone, none of us are like, oh, this feels awesome, because it just doesn't. But starting small and adapting slow, like playing the long game. We talked about that a lot this weekend too in our businesses. Playing the long game is about slow adaptation, slow change. And then because as we do that, every single thing that we do slowly can more easily become a habit, part of our actual lifestyle, part of our actual existence, versus just I have to do all these things in order to get the changes that I want. Because you know what, if any of you have ever experienced this, it's all about sustainability, right? So if at some point I make a change and I get really fast and amazing results because I went like hard charging into the process, the whole question is, what happened a month later or 6 months later? Or like LaDonna, she's been doing keto for herself for an entire year. That's sustainable for her. That's a sustainability. Now, what is the number? I don't care. That's not the point. The point is just anything beyond like that initial 6 week, like, oh, I'm going to do this for 6 weeks or 4 weeks or 21 days, right? Whatever the thing is. And this all sounds very weight driven, and it's not. It just, these happen to be two very specific examples that I can share with you where I use this process. So as you're getting into this next phase, and maybe right now, I would love to know what changes you're actually working on, because if I can help connect you to some of those reputable, reliable sources for certain things, of course I want to do that. But if whatever change you're going through right now, if you've decided, like, I'm doing this, I'm going to commit to this, this is important to me for all of these reasons, right? Step 1. Step 2, now I'm going to figure out which program or which ideas or which guidelines I want to follow. Just remember that even if you sign on and you get the whole shebang, right, like a whole lifestyle fix, like change, you don't have to do it all right out of the gate. In fact, if you choose to start small, take a small step forward. It's the small steps that lead to actual change. And I think most of us that have experienced any change in our life can agree with that, right? So what do you guys think? As I'm kind of wrapping up here, I would love to know what you think. Andrew's still hanging. There he is. That's such a great example too, right? Like, he's starting football. He doesn't know how to play football like this, you know? So here he is learning a little bit every single day. He doesn't really get so much of a choice of who to listen to. He's got a coach or a set of coaches. But this is the change that we go through anything. And I think it's like at some point we think we can outsmart this process. Like, if I were just smarter, or I had my shit together better, like that's sometimes how I feel, that it wouldn't be taking this long, or I'd be seeing the results I want faster. That's not true, friends. This process is what it takes. And what the timeline looks like, gosh, I don't know. But that's why when we get to kind of the end piece, is the constant celebration of every little success is so, so important. So you keep reminding yourself, like, yeah, I'm doing it, you know, even if the results haven't fully come yet. So questions or thoughts or ideas, like, what do you guys think? Like, what are you working on right now? Because I still have quite a few of you on with me live. So now, you know, like, I'm going to be looking at this process, thinking about my farmstead, right? Like, what does this need to look like, and how is going to be the best way to do this? Because I really don't want to let it go. I still don't want to let it go. I flew to Austin thinking maybe I would get down there and like different things would unlock and I would feel like ready to let it go or become more at peace with it. That is not, alas, that is not what happened. So, friends, tell me, talk to me as I drink out of a camouflage cup. It's the only one we have left that's like insulated. Nothing, guys? Nobody's really working on anything in particular? That's okay. So you're still here. You're watching this. This process is going to be helpful to you. And again, if you guys aren't in the Groove Seekers community, the closed Facebook group, totally get in there with me, because that's where, like, if you have a specific thing you want to jam about, like, that's what the group is for. That's like, I think about me, I have that accountability and support directly in my business with my mastermind group. The Groove Seekers community is for all of our lives, like everything in life. like me as a mom, me as a wife, me as a community member in a small town. That's what that group is for. Oh, LaDonna, you're working on a logo for a shift in your business. You know what? So here, friend, I think you're in the Groove Seekers community, the Facebook group. If you get some mock-ups, throw them in there and ask for some advice or ask for some input if you want that. If you want some feedback on it, we'd happily do that for you. Hey, Mary, thank you. I appreciate that. It feels solid and awesome, the advice, because the whole thing is, like, I don't hold myself out to be some sort of a guru. I really don't. I am a woman juggling many things, just like so many of you are, and I'm trying to do the best that I can. I am trying to do right by my family. I'm trying to do right by my community. I'm trying to do right by my maker, my creator, and I'm trying to honor the gifts that I've been given and through the work that I do, right? So when I find things that are really working for me, or experiences that I feel like will help you guys, then I want to share them. And this process is something that's come at me through a number of different formats. I mean, I've had it in more of a corporate setting, but this is something that it gives you some peace. Like, when you're in the midst of trying to change, it gives you peace to know, okay, so this isn't working awesome right now, but that's because I'm in this step of the process, and here are the feelings I need to honor. Because it's the other thing, I'm telling you the feelings that we're going to feel in each of these these stages, so we can honor them. There was a time in my life, ladies, friends, when I didn't want to feel all the things that I felt, and I still don't always want to feel them, but I would do things to intentionally numb them, right? A lot of it was just lying to myself. I was fairly pathological about it, to be honest. I never became like an alcoholic, but like a good couple drinks was always a fun way to just be like, just numb it and not think, right? I still enjoy a cocktail. I mean, just like, don't get me wrong. Shopping. I have filled and numbed those feelings with shopping before. Just thinking really deeply about the ways that we handle or process emotions. So many times I try to run from them and hide them. Like, I hide my crazy, I hide my feelings. And that's not honoring this. And so this process is meant to be just loaded down with grace for you guys, because that's what I really think is missing from a lot of the experts. The whole, like, stop making excuses and just get it done. Blah. Like that, to the woman that's sitting on the couch not wanting to get up because she feels so much like sadness, depression, and self-loathing, I don't really think that's inspiring. So it's, not to say that that's how you guys are feeling, but there will be moments. There's absolutely moments. And, just this last weekend, I shared kind of those 4 images of my health journey. Like, again, the transformation, the before and the after. And I tried to make it really clear that there were so many highs and lows of feelings, big, strong, huge feelings of feeling really, really great and still feeling really unhappy with everything in between each of those 4 images. And so if I can't help you guys figure out how to honor those feelings, then the likelihood of us reaching any real level of change is small. And so, so as you guys are going through this, whatever changes you're trying to make, and if you haven't been trying to make changes, this is such an awesome season for it. Again, if you get into the astrology thing, I think there's like a new moon or something. You have to talk. A couple of my mastermind buddies are like way more into that than me. But it's a timing thing. And then, like, for me, my kids going back to school, it's like mama gets to kind of think about what she needs in the next quarter, towards the end of the year. So get into the group if you haven't, and ask for help. That's the biggest thing, guys. Like, we need to ask each other for help. And this group that I am trying to intentionally create there is meant to be that safe, secure place where you will not be judged for what you think and for what you feel. So I encourage you like crazy to get out there and join us. The other thing I'm going to say, I've just created Flo. I have more energy than anyone you know. That's fantastic. Thanks, friend. I try to show up with energy. There's a reason I was given it, I think. I have created a new little resource guide for you guys, and it's called the Small Town Survival Kit. So I'll be posting a link to that here shortly. I would love for you guys to get your hands on it. Tell me what you think of it. Again, it's meant for those times when your small town maybe feels just a touch too small. because it certainly feels that way sometimes for me. And it's just meant to buoy you. So what's in it, there's a few audio clips. They're less than a minute long, just me talking to you. So like very specific. So one is like to the woman who feels afraid. You know, if you feel afraid, then you can listen to that. I call them 1 minute audio mojos, like 1 minute mojos for your ears. You can pop them in and just listen to them anytime. So I'll post the links to those here this afternoon so you guys can snag those. But of course, get yourselves in the Facebook group too, where all the best conversations take place. Also, last thing, this is the last thing, not second, this would be like the 10th, because I give you all the things, or try. The next thing to mention, the very last thing to mention, is that I also am going to host once a month happy hours virtually. And here's the deal. By happy hours, I mean happy hours. So like no structured thing. I'm not going to teach you anything. We're not going to go through anything. We're literally just going to come together and we're going to share a cocktail or whatever you feel like drinking. And I want to hold space for you all. So that's the thing, you guys, that I miss probably the most. I moved to this small town. My friend Britt in Austin, one of my mastermind buddies, asked me this weekend, like, what did pre-rural Rebecca do? And by pre, she means so like the 10-year gap that I was gone. What did she like to do? So I go to college, I get a degree, I get into banking. What did she like to do? And I was like, one of my very favorite things to do was to meet people on a patio somewhere and have happy hour. I loved happy hour. Now, granted, I didn't have kids then, so happy hour was much easier to accomplish. And, you know, thinking about that, I'm like, well, that's what I should be doing then. And she and I talked about this. She's like, why aren't you just doing it then? Why aren't you hosting one once a month for these women that come together that already follow you? You know, give them a space to just come and share. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do? And she goes, do you plan an agenda when you get together with your friends? And I'm like, no, I don't. So stay tuned for that as well. I'll be inviting, of course, all of you to that. And that is one of those things that you show up how you show up. If your kids are in the car with you, like there he is, yay. Your kids are with you, your kids are with you. There's no judgment, there's no expectation. If you just want to feel connected to a group of people, exactly, Katie, virtual happy hour. So if you just feel like you need the connection and you just want to laugh, because I promise you that'll happen, that's what we're doing. And if we end up like loving them so much we need to do it more than once a month, then that's what we'll do. But for now, keep your eyes, your eyes out for that. And I'm saying this because I feel like that's the thing. That's the thing that I need, just to enjoy people again, because it's the thing I don't have anymore. So that's also something I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to ask myself in my small town, what is it that I need? What is it that I miss? And then why aren't we figuring out a way to get it there? So I can't create an outdoor patio with a bar, at least not yet, but I can do it virtually. And so keep an eye out for that, friends. If you guys need anything, you know how to reach me. I'm going to take this child home. Oh, look at that tired face. Oh, little smile. That's what you get from that one. Oh, he's smiling. Going to take him home, feed him some, pro-workout food or post-workout food, and then get back to work today. But thank you guys always, as always, so much for watching. And until I see you again, groove on, sisters, and let me know how I can help. Okay? You guys have an awesome day. We'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, waving. Bye.